Hey guys, you're welcome once again to my YouTube channel. My name is Lydia Stone. Today we are going to be talking about having a baby in the UAE. You know, there are so many theories about the UAE, especially about having a baby in the UAE. So today I'm going to break it down for you guys. For someone who has been in the UAE and has been pregnant in the UAE, I can actually talk more about this topic. When I got to Cameroon, so many people were telling me a lot of things and I was like, oh my god, where do they get this from? So today I'm going to be talking about having a baby in the UAE. Is it possible or not? And the answer is, oh yes, it is very possible to have a baby in the UAE. I'm going to talk about my own experience. So when I got to the UAE, I went with tourist visa, that is visiting visa, and when I got there I decided to change it to a working visa. Before changing it to a working visa, I found out that I was pregnant. So when I found out I was pregnant, the agent who was in charge of doing my documents was so furious at me. One morning I woke up and he sent me a message, a very horrible message, insulting me on how I just got myself pregnant on getting to the UAE, a place where I was supposed to come and hustle. And he sent me a very horrible message insulting me, insulting my partner and all of that, saying, do I think this is Cameroon? Like, how am I going to do with the pregnancy? That either I come back to Cameroon. Like, he was just saying some very horrible things to me in the message. And thank God I did not work again with that particular agent. I decided to go for another agent. When I went to the agent, I just made her to know that, you know what, I am pregnant as we speak, because the theory is that you cannot get pregnant in the UAE while you're not married. Anyways, that theory is very wrong. You can actually get pregnant in the UAE without getting married, without being married to somebody. Yeah, so when I got to the agent, I made her to know first that I was pregnant. I thought it was going to be like an issue. She was like, okay. I was like, oh, okay, just okay, because the other agent had insulted me. Because he's actually kind of close to me in one way or the other, so he thought maybe he had a privilege to just insult me about it and all of that. So the agent was like, no, that's okay, there's no problem with that. When you're going for your medicals, you just have to let them know that you're pregnant. I was still very skeptical because the way this guy spoke to me, it was like a taboo to get pregnant in the UAE. I was like, oh my god, what have I done? Maybe it's not going to work out and all of that, but it is not true. So when she did the documents and we got to the point where I had to do my medicals, when I got to the center, I went and I told them that I was pregnant. So they actually did just the blood test. They did just blood test for me, and they didn't do the x-ray because the x-ray was going to, they say, it can affect the baby or the fetus. So they didn't actually do any x-ray for me because you're pregnant, but they have to test you to be sure that you're pregnant. So they did my blood test and everything was okay. Yeah, so there is no issue at all. You can get pregnant even if you're not married. Now let's move now to, can you give birth in the UAE or can you go for antenatal? And the answer is yes. This is how my antenatal went. I started my antenatal with a hospital. It was quite expensive, and I was told that I can actually get a cheaper hospital. That's because I didn't have insurance, because I wasn't having a job at the time. I wasn't having a job, so I wasn't having insurance. And even if you have insurance, it cannot cover for your pregnancy because you got the job while you were pregnant. It's not like you had a job before and then now you're pregnant, you fell pregnant. No, you got pregnant before having the job, so the insurance will not cover for your medical bills. So it was very expensive. This hospital was very expensive, and I started looking for a cheaper hospital because just my first antenatal, or my first appointment, I spent over 300 dirhams just to do a scan. 300 dirhams is like 1 2 3 4, like 50 something thousand francs. In francs CFA, it's like 50 something thousand francs. Yes, so it was quite expensive, and I decided to now look for another hospital, another clinic. It wasn't easy, but thank God I got to one or two contacts, and they linked me up to a clinic, to a hospital, and that hospital was very affordable. So that was where I started doing my antenatal. So if you're in the UAE, you fall pregnant, you don't have an insurance, you can actually look for a cheaper hospital to do your antenatal, and there is no problem. Nobody is going to stop you from doing your antenatal. Nobody stopped me, and nobody is going to stop you from doing your antenatal. So I did my antenatal properly, all my appointments. I went for all my appointments. Even when I'm not feeling okay, I'll go to the hospital. It was free. Like, nobody is stopping you from doing that. There is no rule that says because you're pregnant and you're not married and nobody's going to attend to you, they're going to arrest you. Maybe that was before, yeah, maybe before, but now as I'm talking to you, it is not the case, because so many people out of the UAE come to UAE to give birth to a baby. Most of them are not even married. They come from Europe, they come from the USA. You can look at videos on the internet as per that. So there's no problem if you're pregnant and you want to do your visa. You have to let them know you're pregnant, and they will not do you an x-ray. They will not x-ray the inside of your body or whatsoever, because it can affect your baby. You can attend your antenatal, and you can actually give birth in the UAE. Yes, it is quite expensive, especially for those who are not having an insurance. Like somebody like me, I wasn't having an insurance, so it was going to be very expensive for me. So as we speak, the only reason why you shouldn't give birth in the UAE is because maybe you don't have enough funds for it, or your partner or maybe family members will not be there to assist you. So that should be the only reason why you cannot give birth in the UAE. But the truth is, you can have your baby in the UAE. You are free to do so. When it was time to give birth, I had to come back to Cameroon because I didn't have somebody to be there with me. Yes, so I had to come back to Cameroon because I couldn't give birth all alone. Everybody is working in the UAE. Nobody, except you want to hire a nanny, nobody is going to come and stay with you and forsake their job. So I had to move back to Cameroon. When I got to Cameroon, everybody was like, oh, you're back. Oh yeah, it's because you cannot give birth in the UAE. No, you can give birth in the UAE if you want to. The only reason why you cannot give birth in the UAE, finances, or you don't have help. That is the only reason. Nobody is stopping you from having your baby. Nobody is stopping you from doing your antenatal. Nobody is stopping you from anything. Yes. So although I heard so many theories, some people told me that no, you cannot give birth in the UAE because they'll arrest you. It is not true. No, you cannot give birth in the UAE because your baby cannot leave the UAE. Somebody even said my baby cannot leave the UAE ever again. I'm like, what? How did they get all of this kind of information? So I'm actually giving you the right information as someone who has been in that situation, and I've been in the country. So there is nothing like you cannot have your baby in the UAE. So you are free to have your baby in the UAE. I hope this was very informative. Till next time, bye bye.